Welcome back to the Knock-On Effect, the rugby show where we say what the pundits won't. Game week 2 of the URC had some brilliant rugby and some more slip-ups. In today's video, we're going to quickly recap all the games, but in particular, we'll be taking a look at the Bulls vs Leinster and Munster vs Cardiff, and we'll answer the question, has the Irish 10 jersey been decided for the Autumn Nation series already? So without further ado, let's get stuck in. First off, if you're not already subscribed, what are you waiting for? It's totally free and we put up plenty of no-nonsense rugby content every week, so now is your chance. We're going to touch base on the ever-evolving Crowley vs Prendergast debate later in the video, but first, let's take a quick look at the other matchups Game Week 2 had to offer, because there was some cracking games and some big upsets. The Stormers hosted the Ospreys in the DHL Stadium to kick off round 2. It was always going to be a tough ask for the Ospreys after an end-to-end battle last week, but they performed better than the scoreline would suggest. The return of Jack Morgan will add some extra oomph to their pack, and I reckon they're going to pick up a handful of wins over the coming weeks when they return home from South Africa. The Stormers, on the other hand, had a fantastic start to the season. 2 wins from 2, Evan Roos on the score sheet again, he's been lethal. Yuri Matea, however you say it, let me know in the comments. Anyway, he's been a revelation at 10 for them. 1 conversion, 3 penalties here, and he kept the scoreboard ticking over and got them the win. On to the next one. Over in Wales, the Dragons held the Sharks to a draw. The Dragons look like a much better drill team this year, and the signing of Tinnis de Beer will be an important one. He's giving them the stability and structure they desperately missed last year. The Sharks, on the other hand, had no wins in the first 2, and they're on to Leinster and the Aviva next. We called it in our predictions video. Things could get ugly for them pretty quickly. Over in Italy, we had 2 matches and 2 Italian winners. How often do we get to say that? Benetton upset the Warriors in a big performance, while Zebre make it 2 wins from 2 with a win against the Lions, so fair fucks to them. In Benetton match, Rhino Smith made the difference this week, coming off the bench to slot a drop goal at the death to snatch the win. From a Glasgow perspective, you can't help but feel that they took the foot off the pedal here. 14-3 up after only 29 minutes, it looked like they were cruising, but credit to Benetton, they made it ugly and they fought their way back into the match. Another huge positive from this match is Ben Connor. The 22-year-old Welsh referee has made his URC debut. Have we found our new Nigel Owens? He had some big decisions to make, but he was cool, calm and collected. He articulated himself well, and I think he got them all spot on. The URC officiating isn't always up to scratch, so I think it's important to point out that they are looking to improve, and they're bringing in the best young referees, so credit where it's due. As for Zebre, this is 2 wins from 2, and 2 weeks in a row they have patiently mauled the ball over to grab wins. This is a different beast from what we've seen from Zebre in the past. If you don't come correct, they can cause an upset. Now, while that's positive progression, I think it's a double-edged sword for the Italian side. Teams will no longer feel that they can rest players, and they will receive the full respect from their opponents in future. As for the Lions, it's more the same. Yes, Quain Horn showed some good moments. Yes, they looked decent on the break at times. But ultimately, this is another away match and another loss. Not good enough. Right lads, on to the big boys. First up, the Bulls vs Leinster. This was an end-to-end 10-try thriller. Both teams should be immensely proud of their efforts here. The Bulls, through David Creel and Willie LaRue, put on a great show. Despite having so many absentees from the Rugby Championship, they met Leinster blow for blow. As for Leinster, this was exactly the reaction that Leo Cullen would have wanted to have seen after last week. They showed fight, they showed determination, and they worked their way into a showdown with the scores 32-31 with 10 minutes to go. Leinster were desperate to work the ball into a scoreable position. The forwards take the ball on. Sam Prendergast drops back into the pocket, hands outstretched and waiting, one eye on the goalposts. The ball comes back. Pause right there. Now we're going to jump over to Thomond Park, where Munster took on a gritty Cardiff outfit. Cardiff deserve a huge amount of credit. They scored some disgustingly good tries, Tom Bone taking his pick of the bunch. From a Munster perspective, it wasn't as smooth as last week. Jack Crowley's creative kick through to Dan Kelly was unfortunately ruled short. The ref took one look and said short, which I thought was so harsh. You can't even zoom in? Here, I'll do it for you. I won't get too bent out of shape though, as the officials casually skipped over some potentially forward Munster passes, which I reckon Cardiff could feel hard done by. And it took a bit of persistence for Munster to get into the game. Rowan Quinn scored to get us off the mark, Gavin Coombs came up clutch with a trademark 5-metre finish, and when Diarmaid Barron crossed the try line, it put Munster in the driver's seat. 10 minutes to go, 20-15 to Munster. The forwards, desperate to work the ball into a scoring position. Crowley drops back into the pocket, hands outstretched and waiting, one eye on the goalposts. The ball comes back. These moments matter. They are the deciders of games. They are the deciders of tournaments. The difference was Prendergast rushed his. He snatched at it from 40-odd metres away, while Crowley barked orders at his pack and had the faith that they would retain possession. He bought his time, and from 30-ish metres away, he slotted a deciding dropkick. Which brings us to the question, has the Irish 10 jersey been decided for the Autumn Nation series already? The answer? No. Let me explain. The reason I wanted to ask this question in the first place is I think a lot of Munster fans felt a bit shortchanged with Crowley's exclusion last year. I thought the July series this year was a bit meaningless and it didn't carry a lot of influence no matter how well either of them played in the games. In my eyes, Crowley and Prendergast are neck and neck as to who starts. So leading up to the Autumn Nation series this year, we're going to keep a scoreboard of who's on top so there can be no debates. We'll clearly be able to see who deserves the jersey, so Andy Farrell, I hope you're watching. Last week, it wasn't even a discussion. Prendergast was so poor that Crowley could have not even come on for Munster and still gone 1-0 up. But he did, and he put in a stellar performance. This week, Prendergast not only missed the drop goal, not only did his clearance kicks lead directly to Bull's tries, but he throws an intercept to cough up the losing bonus point at the end. Crowley, on the other hand, barked orders at his pack, not only showed some ridiculously creative and audacious kicks, but also showed patience, leadership, and nerves of steel to win the match for Munster. So isn't it obvious then that Crowley should start for Ireland? No, it's not. Because if the New Zealand match was tomorrow, he'd start. But it's another 3 game weeks away. Prendergast has a chance to turn the ship around. Not only that, but in game week 4, Leinster host Munster in Croke Park and will really be able to separate the boys from men. I have it 2-0 to Crowley at the moment. Let us know how you have it scored in the comments below. As always, cheers for watching. Catch you at the next one.